You think you know big off-road trucks, but you don't know these beasts, the hidden giants built to dominate ice, snow, and frozen wastelands. Today, I'll take you into the frozen heart of the Earth and show you 10 of the biggest off-road expedition vehicles in the Arctic you didn't even know existed. Imagine darkness, wind howling, ice stretching forever, temperatures well below 40 degrees C. And in that silence, a massive machine grinds forward, defying nature. These are not just trucks. They are survival pods, moving bases, legends, and some of them almost failed spectacularly. I'll show you how and why. You won't believe the first one. It's not a modern beast, but a nearly forgotten legend. 1. The Yemelya 6x6 Russian Arctic wheeled attempt. In 2009, a Russian explorer named Vasily Yelagin launched a bold plan to reach the North Pole by wheeled vehicles. No skis, no sleds, just wheels. They built 2 vehicles called Yemelya 1 and Yemelya 2. These were 6x6 all-terrain trucks with ultra-low pressure tires, custom suspension, and trailers carrying fuel and supplies. The context: everyone thought wheels would just sink in soft snow or break apart. But Yelagin's team was convinced that with the right design, wheels could work where tracks or skis dominated. Over 38 days, they traversed ice and frozen sea, 2,033 km from Severnaya Zemlya to the North Pole. It was the first time wheeled land vehicles reached the pole in that way. The surprise: on many stretches the vehicles floated over soft snow, thanks to tire pressure tricks. The trailers also served as shock absorbers. They survived avalanche zones, pressure ridges, thin ice. For many, this proved that wheels still had a role even in deepest cold. Legacy: Yemelya inspired further Arctic wheeled designs. Later Russian expeditions, MLAE 2011, etc., refined the idea. While not often seen now, the Yemelya story lives in records of extreme vehicle design. 2. Krug Bedrock XT2, Arctic Trucks, Krug Expedition. This is not your pickup. It begins as a Ford F550 4x4 chassis, but everything is modified and scaled up. The Krug Bedrock XT2 weighs nearly $20,000 lb, around 9 tons, fully operational. But what makes it special? It has 2 rear axles, so triple axles total. Extreme suspension articulation, air suspension for the rear, massive flotation tires made especially for deep snow, and a built-in expedition cabin attached. Picture this: you're deep in a frozen wilderness and your truck is also your home. Inside are modular racks, ladder, power systems, gear storage. Yet the monstrous vehicle still maneuvers with surprising agility, even though it has the footprint of a big rig. In tests, journalists parked a tiny car next to it just to show scale. The Bedrock dwarfed it. Why it mattered: this is one of the few machines that blends expedition comfort and extreme terrain performance. Rather than a small off-road van, this is a rolling habitat you can drive across polar zones, where it is now, sold as a premium extreme adventure vehicle. It's rare but seen in high-end expeditions and overlanding circles. Its existence shows how modern engineering can push limits. Alright, I've just warmed you up. The next ones go deeper into history and surprising dead ends. The Antarctic Snow Cruiser. Though built for Antarctica, its ambition influences Arctic designs. In the late 1930s, the US built a massive vehicle called the Snow Cruiser, meant to carry scientists and planes across Antarctica. It was huge. Length, 17 mm. Weight, 75,000 lb, with built-in living quarters, laboratories, and even the capacity to carry a biplane on top of it. But it failed spectacularly. Its smooth tires had almost no grip on snow and ice. The crew had to drive in reverse sometimes. It got stuck and was eventually abandoned. Why mention it? Because it showed that size alone doesn't win in the cold. It taught engineers lessons about traction, weight distribution, and the limits of ambition. Many modern Arctic vehicles owe their design philosophy to learning from its failures. Fun fact: the Snow Cruiser was rediscovered in 1958 under snow, still loaded with supplies and magazines, and then lost again. Its current whereabouts remain a mystery. For Sherp, modern extreme amphibious ATV, you might know Sherp, those weird, bulbous, ultra-low pressure tire machines. Their design allows them to float, cross water, roll over broken ice, swamp, snow. What many don't know, Sherp has been used in extreme polar rescue, remote surveying, and Arctic supply missions. Its large tires and the onboard valve system to deflate or inflate instantly give it near-track behavior without tracks. One surprising fact, Sherp can carry heavy cargo towing loads while crossing thin ice. It's used by search and rescue teams in the remote north precisely because of its adaptability. Because its footprint is wide, it spreads weight, reducing the chance of breaking through ice. Legacy. Sherp inspired a generation of amphibious terrain-agnostic utility vehicles. As polar regions open up or demand increases, Sherp-like designs will become more common in expedition logistics. 5 Toyota Hilux Arctic Trucks 835. This is a more normal vehicle but modified to extreme specs. Toyota partnered with Arctic Trucks to build Hilux AT35 for polar exploration. What makes it extreme? They reworked the frame, body, suspension, and installed 35-inch tires, lifted clearance, special components for sub-zero performance. They also used experience from the BBC Top Gear North Pole expedition. This Hilux design was part of that support. Why it matters? It proves that you don't always need a monstrous truck. With smart mods, a reliable base vehicle can conquer icy frontiers. It's been used as support, supply, and transport in polar conditions. Where you see them? In modern Arctic tourism, scientific outposts, and remote supply lines. It's a workhorse in extreme environments. You've already seen how trucks like the Yemelya and the Krug Bedrock pushed limits, but now it's time to go even bigger. Because what's coming next will make those look like toys. These next Arctic beasts weren't just made to survive the cold. They were built to own it. 6 Torsus Praetorian. You might think buses belong on city streets. Not this one. The Torsus Praetorian is the world's first heavy-duty 4x4 off-road bus. Built in Slovakia and designed for extreme environments like the Arctic Circle, it looks like a cross between a tank and a tourist coach. It's powered by a 6.9-liter diesel engine, has 4x4 drive, and ground clearance so high that a full-grown person could crawl underneath it. It can carry up to 35 passengers or a fully loaded expedition crew. The story goes that when engineers first tested it on frozen ground in Lapland, it glided over the snow like a hovercraft. They fitted special Arctic tires, heated systems, and insulation to keep passengers warm even at 50 degrees Celsius. What makes it special is that it fills a gap between trucks and comfort. Most Arctic rigs are cramped. The Praetorian gives explorers room to live, sleep, and work inside. It's now used for oil field transport, Arctic tourism, and polar science teams. Think of it as the world's toughest bus, and yes, you could literally drive your whole crew through a blizzard in this thing. Fun fact, Torsus once released a limited TerraStorm edition van for lighter expeditions, but nothing matches the sheer power of the full-size Praetorian. But hold on, the next one doesn't just drive across snow, it drives through it. 7. Hägglunds BV206 and BVS10. This is one of the most successful Arctic vehicles ever made. The Hägglunds BV206 and its modern cousin, the BVS10 Viking, are Swedish twin-body tracked carriers. If you've ever seen 2 little pods connected by a flexible hinge crawling across snow, that's it. The BV206 was designed for the Swedish military to cross deep snow, bogs, and icy lakes. It's powered by a diesel engine that drives both cars through a central pivot. Each unit is tracked, and because of its low ground pressure, it literally floats on snow. In the Arctic, it became a favorite. Norway, Finland, and even the British Royal Marines use it in the north. The BVS-10 Viking, a modernized version, is faster, more powerful, and fully amphibious. Here's the crazy part. When researchers tested them on sea ice near Svalbard, they found the tracks created less stress than a human walking. So this 5-ton machine can move across ice thinner than you could safely stand on.